Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and Manchester City are in more than a crisis at the moment. And whilst most of us will have wanted this for a long time because they're a juggernaut who keeps winning things, there's now a very serious topic around Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, with him appearing in the press conference after the game yesterday with cuts to his nose, scratches to his head. When asked about it, he said that he'd done it with his fingernails and he wanted to harm himself. This is just incredible. The spiral around Manchester City, but also people saying, well, did he do it to himself? Has something happened in the dressing room? Look, I think when you look at Pep Guardiola on the side of the pitch, he is touching his head. If he's got long nails, he's scratched his head, he's scratched his nose. What we must say here as a community and to the rest of the world is that this is football, and things get taken out of context. But obviously, you've got to take things on face value. And I hope that Manchester City and people around Pep Guardiola are providing the professional support required, because harming yourself, whether it's a throwaway comment and he's done it or not, deliberately or accidental, is a serious topic. And if you are somebody that suffers with those thoughts, then please do seek help and speak to people, because it's a very, very serious topic. And we have to and will obviously highlight the seriousness of that and say that if Pep Guardiola is suffering with those things, he also needs to get professional help and support. Look, incredible, absolutely incredible what's going on at Man City. Are we seeing a breakdown from Pep Guardiola? It's just one of those where I read the comments anyway, but I'll be very interested to read the comments on this. They haven't won for 6 games. They've lost 5. They've drawn yesterday. They've got Liverpool at the weekend. It could get worse, and they were 3-0 up. I've always said about Man City, it's a rarity, but when things go wrong, they're ridiculously vulnerable. The brilliance of Pep and Man City is they've just been so dominant for so long. But when they get challenged and when things don't go well their way, there is a fragility to them. And it's incredible what we're seeing. It's like they've been so dominant for so long that when the going gets tough, they just can't deal with it. More yellow cards than normal, playing really badly, conceding lots of goals. Pep Guardiola appearing like that in a press conference. Look, I've always said the comparison between Pep Guardiola and Sir Alex Ferguson is laughable. It's recency bias. I mean, I look at and witnessed Sir Alex Ferguson's reign at Manchester United. It started badly. There were times when it went bad as well. The mental strength and determination in adversity that Sir Alex Ferguson showed over a long period of time to keep facing new challenges and building new teams was immense. I've always said this about Pep Guardiola. Barcelona, some of the best players of a generation. Bayern Munich, dominant in that league and have been ever since and before. And Man City had already won the league and are the most financially strong team in the league. There's not been a lot of battles for Pep. He's now facing a huge battle. And the question is, will they come through this? I still think Man City could win the league because they have in the past won 10, 12 games in a row. Arne Slot's first season, maybe there will be a wobble. Maybe this is just a crisis that will look back like we do in every autumn and go, remember everyone was saying they were in crisis? But this time it feels more real. You know, Pep Guardiola looks shattered, rattled. He's appearing like that in a press conference. That's not normal behaviour, you know. That's not normal behaviour to be scratching your head and cutting your nose. It's not normal. We've seen him on the touchline with the spitting thing. That actually is not a cry for help, but that's a reaction to something. That's adrenaline. That's something. You know when he's dry spitting sometimes because there's no spit there? There'll be people who analyse people saying that's actually saying this. So there's concerns around Pep Guardiola, of course. Rodri's not there. The 115. It's just it's in. I don't want to say these words, but I'm empathetic. I'm a human being. I actually feel quite sorry for Pep Guardiola at the moment. I think it's and people will say you're having a laugh. You know, they've had so much success, but they're not coping with this. Like, I actually am waiting for the bounce. I'm actually waiting for the Man City fight back, which we probably do need for the Premier League. We don't want Liverpool to have it won by the end of November. Maybe Arsenal can challenge them, but I'm expecting a Man City bounce. But at the moment, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And I go back to that new contract that he signed last week, and I think, what's that all about then? Because, you know, I'm not saying that the injuries that Pep have got have been from a dressing room fight. I mean, somebody was saying on social media last night, it's clearly somebody trying to get at him and scratched him when they're being held back and stuff like that. I get what they're saying, but I don't, there's no evidence to support that. But I don't imagine the dressing room's a happy place at the moment. And the modern footballer isn't necessarily... Well, look, you can see it. The modern footballer at Man City has been brilliant. The mentality has been superb. But it's crap at the moment. And the reaction to Pep Guardiola signing a new contract has not been, that was the thing that was bothering us, let's go and blow Spurs away and Feyenoord away. Contrary to that, they've conceded 7 goals in 2 games. And they're going to Anfield at the weekends. Now, that game's going to be absolutely massive. I can't wait. But Liverpool are literally welcoming a wounded animal. I mean, Pep's got the wounds. Like, the team has conceded 7 goals in 2 games. They look weak and vulnerable, and we know with Man City that when they're like that, you can get at them. And it's Anfield, who when it's rocking, it's rocking. So things could get a lot worse, and it's interesting to predict what might happen. But I'm really surprised. I thought last week when that new contract was announced that there may be some indication that then they're going to get the result they want in the 115 case. Pep Guardiola staying for 2 years with no break clauses. I mean, maybe there is a break clause. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I think Man City are suddenly interesting. For so long, Man City have been winning everything, and they're such a boring team. I mean, I was saying last night, who's watching Man City against Feyenoord? Boring. Suddenly, 3-2, you switch it over and you watch it. I mean, there's something that Man City probably have never realised. You buy Grealish for £100 million because he's, box office. You win loads of trophies and, kids start supporting you because they like Haaland or De Bruyne. But the real interest in Man City is now. When you show a vulnerability, when you show that you're not invincible, when you show that you're not a juggernaut, suddenly Man City are an interesting story. And amongst their trauma, there might be somebody at Man City going, actually, you know what? People are actually talking about Man City. People are actually interested in Man City. I'm not saying it's been done on purpose, far from it, but I actually find Man City quite interesting, and not because of Pep with his scratches and not because they're losing games, but because actually they're like a normal football club at the moment who is going through a bad period, and everyone's sort of looking at it and going, how are they going to deal with this? There's an interesting story there for once. How they come through it, I don't know. Look, Pep Guardiola, for me at the moment, is the biggest mystery. That interview after the game, obviously we've mentioned the harm stuff and everything like that, and if that is true, then hopefully he's getting the support. The serious side to that is that, he's just signed a new contract, he's visibly shook, and, does he carry on at Man City for another 2 years? Why has he done it? Did he want to go and then he sort of pressured himself into do it? It can't be forced, obviously, but is he now regretting that? Are the players picking up on that? I think he was going at the end of the season. I think they wanted Amorim. I think Amorim, I can see why at United, Man City would have wanted him. They've got the director of football from Sporting. He definitely would have had the personality to take over from Pep. He's got a style of play. The players would have adapted to it. I think Man City and Amorim would have worked really, really well. He's took a more difficult job at United by a very long way. But I think Pep was looking to go. And then obviously the chat's been had, hasn't it? Look, we haven't got anybody. We'll give you this amount of money. Will you stay for a couple of years while we find somebody? And Pep's done it. But now is he regretting it a little bit? Interesting. Get your comments in below. What are your thoughts? Smash a like on the video and subscribe. Don't forget we're back live with another watch along tonight. It's Real Madrid at Liverpool. Looking forward to that. Serious. Man City are interesting, but the topics are serious. Get your comments in below. Speak to you in a bit.